All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division, where there is a tactic admission being made by Terence Crawford's team relative to Jaron, Ennis, and himself. Tacit admission. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound weight division, where something was said by Terence Crawford's team about Jaron Ennis, which is a tacit admission, along with something that they said about Errol Spence Jr., which is a tacit admission by Terence Crawford's team of something that I know I've said, and a lot of people have pointed out. However, it also shows that that team itself may very well be thinking this very same thing. And it revolves around this concept of big draw. And before I get into it, let me tell you what a tacit admission is. A tacit admission is something that you admit by what you are doing, and not necessarily what you're saying, but what you're doing. Right? So, and it's highly subjective, obviously, but let's get into that conversation in this video. But before I do, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to subscribe to the channel. And if you do, hit that like button or hit that bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. Really does make a monster difference to the channel. So thank you guys so much for what you do. But let's get into this, because there's a lot of talk about A side and B side in boxing, which is a term that I really don't like, because I don't really think that it applies the way that people apply it. And by that, I mean that people think that because somebody has more fans or has the belts, or that necessarily means that they're going to get whatever they want in a negotiation with somebody because they're the A side. When negotiations are much more complicated than that, you have really what it comes down to, and I continue to say this, is you're no better than your next best option, right? Whatever, you can't get somebody below something or get them to do certain things or accept certain terms if they feel like they've got a better option somewhere else, right? That's kind of the limit of that. However, there is something in boxing called a cash cow. And a cash cow is what I think we're really talking about when people are saying A side and B side. They're really talking about, or either you're the cash cow or you've got the champion belt. You got the belts, which in my opinion is basically something you get that allows you to eventually become a cash cow. That's how I see it. So when Terence Crawford's team says a couple things, it implies to me that they know that they're not a cash cow, and that the people that they're fighting, and that the people that want to fight them, that they don't want to fight, that they, based off their drawing power alone, will not be able to sell a fight. And why do I say that? It's because they've said it. But they didn't say it about themselves. They said it about the other people. What do I mean? What am I talking about? One particular guy. There's two, obviously. The first is the Errol Spence Jr. rematch, where Steve Nelson, so-called Nelson, stated that they did not believe that the Errol Spence Jr. rematch will sell. If it won't sell, that is telling you that they think that there's not enough fan interest in the fight. Then they say about Jaron Ennis that Jaron Ennis doesn't have the experience and he doesn't have the following. Well, what do you care about the following, right? You care about the following, or the number of people that fans that he has, will actually buy the fight and make it financially viable. And then Steve Nelson continues on and says that they want to make the biggest bag. Now, here's my thing. If you look at the established cash cows in boxing, right? Errol Spence Jr., before this Terence Crawford fight, because somebody are going to argue that he's not, even though his fight that he just did was very big. And every other fight that he has done has generated a lot of money, right? You never hear him talk about, I'm not going to fight somebody because I don't think the fight will sell. Because he believed and believes, I suppose he still believes, that every fight that he has will sell. Why? Because he's in it. Gervonta Davis, established cash cow. Do you ever hear Gervonta Davis ever saying that he doesn't think a fight will sell? No, he didn't say anything about, I don't want to fight Hector Garcia because Hector Garcia won't sell. He's comfortable that it will sell. Rick Glazier's fictitious pay-per-view numbers aside, he ain't acted like it was a problem then, and he didn't act like he didn't make a lot of money afterwards, right? Same thing with Canelo Alvarez. You never hear Canelo Alvarez ever talking about a fight won't sell because he is firmly confident in the fact that no matter who he fights, that fight is going to sell. Now, one fight may sell more than the other. If Canelo Alvarez fights, I don't know. If Canelo Alvarez, for example, Canelo Alvarez, Gennady Golovkin won. That sold more than Canelo Alvarez Yildirim, but Canelo Alvarez Yildirim still sold a lot of tickets. It may have underperformed by his standards, but it was still well within the I made a ton of money mode, right? So if you are saying that two of the big, specifically Errol Spence Jr. and Jaron Ennis fights shouldn't be made because they don't have the following and the fan interest for the fight, then you basically are saying that you cannot carry a fight by yourself. And that is the litmus test for who a big star in boxing is. If you can fight anybody and that fight sells, you're a big man. Floyd Mayweather Jr. could fight anybody, and that fight was going to sell. That fight was going to make a lot of money. Take, for example, probably the worst performance that he had against, in his pay-per-view run was probably his last pay-per-view before he retired. Subsequent to that, there was the Conor McGregor and all of the different exhibitions, but I think it was somewhere between 350,000 and 500,000 pay-per-views he sold for Andre Berto, which was a fight that nobody was interested in, really. Nobody was really calling for. It was after the Manny Pacquiao fight where, all of the hoopla and all that stuff had kind of died down a little bit, and he still did those numbers. Why? And he could pull out Conor McGregor and do those type of numbers. So what does that say about Floyd? That Floyd can sell fights by himself. So Terence Crawford needs other fighters to sell fights. And that is the position where it's going to be a problem with Canelo, because Canelo could look at him and say, I don't need you to sell a fight. So what's in it for me if you can't sell a fight by yourself, right? So it might actually behoove him to fight somebody like Jaron Ennis and show and put pay-per-view numbers up and see what his selling power is. Because the Errol Spence Jr. versus Terence Crawford one, the last one, if it won't resell, then you're telling people don't pay attention to what I sold with Terence Crawford, with Errol Spence Jr. Because number one, Errol Spence was the bigger draw of the two when that fight took place. And now if fans are not interested in seeing you fight him again, maybe they won't be interested in seeing you fight Canelo because of you, but only because of Canelo. You get my point? Kind of a tacit admission there. And I think maybe people should kind of watch some of the things that they say, because people will kind of read between the lines on things like that. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.